Hello everyone, it's September 2009 here, and welcome to part 9 of Thomas and Friends What Ifs, where I go through your comments and give you my thoughts. So let's get into it. Station Films asked, what if all the Thomas pilots that came before Britsname got involved were actually successful? The 1953 show would eventually have run out of books to adapt, so it'd probably only last a few months before cancellation, even if Henry didn't derail. As for the 1976 one, I'm not sure about Thomas being a musical show. Oh wait, that already happened. JG Joshi asked, what if Mia and Rebecca never came into the Steam team and Edward and Henry never left? For this to happen, either Tin with Sheds would have to be extended again, or Mia and Rebecca would just stay somewhere else, the same way how Toby is part of the Steam team but doesn't stay at Tin with Sheds. If this happened, then I think fans would be a lot happy about Bubba without Edward and Henry being kicked out. George Roberts asked a few, the first one being, what if Sharon Miller wrote the Big World Big Adventures film and Bubba Seasons? This would make Bubba even worse if she wrote it with the same style of writing as the Nitrogen era. The second one was, what if Thomas had a crossover with Tugs? This would boost Tugs' popularity and perhaps could have revived it. The third one was, what if Thomas ended after Audrey's passing? Slightly confused what you mean here because Thomas ended in 2021 and Audrey died in 1997. The fourth one was, what if the Trackmaster range from 2010 to 2013 continued? We would have seen the Brenner characters and maybe some more model series characters in this range. The fifth one was, what if Alec Baldwin narrated Series 7? If he never left, then the US version of Series 7 wouldn't have been delayed, and would have been released normally as per the UK. But considering his narration in Series 6, it most likely wouldn't have been too good here either. The sixth one was, what if the Coldie Fell Engines got a second book? They needed this. Mountain Engines is the most random book in the Railway series because it had no lasting impact, as per the other books. The Real Life Snowdon Railway, the basis for the Coldie Fell Railway, started using diesels, so this could have been what this book could have been about. Some of you may know that Christopher Audrey had way more plans for books, but were rejected by the publishers who wanted more Thomas-centered books. I wouldn't be too surprised if Chris actually planned to release a follow-up Coldie Fell book, the same way he did Jock the New Engine. The seventh one was, what if the Tatmar cast returned to voice the characters in the CGI series along with a few new ones? I really like the voices for the engines in Tatmar, but trying to pitch them with the engines in the Nitrogen era just feels so wrong. But if this happened, then some fans would theorise that the CGI series is set in the same timeline as Magic Railroad. The eighth one was, what if Ringo Starr returned as Mr. Conductor in Magic Railroad? It would be strange, but not too obscure, because the Beatles were known in the US, and some people would recognise him. A lot of fans in the UK and the US who grew up with Ringo's dub of Series 1 and 2 would be especially pleased to see him back, and might even have gone to see the movie just because of him. The ninth one was, what if Donald and Douglas appeared in All Engines Go? It was so weird that they released an All Engines Go motorised Donald but no Douglas, even though neither of them appeared in the show. But if they were in the show, this would have made much more sense, and an All Engines Go Douglas would have been released also. It would have been nice to see them again, even if they only had minor roles. The 10th one was, what if the Take and Play range from 2013 to 2014 continued? In my opinion, these were the most accurate die-cast items and much better quality to the 2014 onwards range. If the 2013 range continued, then we would get post-Series 17 characters in this style, as well as more model series characters, which was something they were doing at this point. We may have also got some more Railway series characters, considering we got Big City Engine. Mario Bros Movie Fan 2016 asked, what if Freddy and Mighty Mac returned in Blue Mountain Mystery? I would love to have seen them in CGI, but with all of the other narrow gauge engines, the Blue Mountain Quarry would feel very busy with them. Jacob Victor asked, what if Hero on the Rails and the Great Discovery were combined? I think this was at some point the plan. Perhaps Thomas would have found her in one of the abandoned tracks he was told to explore, and would have helped him and tried to welcome Great Waterton at the same time. I'd really like to see someone try and recreate this, because I think it would have been fantastic. A special fan asked, what if the TV series continued down the timeline instead of every season taking place in the 60s? I do actually think about this sometimes. Over the seasons, cars and people's clothing would evolve, and we'd likely see more diesel engines and perhaps even modern electric engines towards the end of the show. Henry Fan 1 Productions asked a few, with the first one being, what if the TV series models were based on Clive Spong's illustrations instead of Dalby's? If this happened, then the models would have been a lot more accurate, but the faces would have looked a bit strange. The second one was, what if Series 8 introduced new characters? I feel the main thing that made Series 8 not very interesting was its lack of a new character. But if it did have a new character, then this series would become a lot more memorable. The third one was, what if Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell stayed on Thomas till the end? If this happened, then the music would evolve over time as it did in the classic series. The fourth one was, what if Terence had been used more? I would love to have seen Terence more, and if he did, he would have returned to the CGI series in the Nitrogen era instead of the Brent era, and would have had more merchandise made of him. The fifth one, and the last one, was, what if Wilbert Audrey had lived a few years longer, at least until Series 7 or to the start of the Hit era? He would have been furious at Magic Railroad and would have hated Thomas the Jet Engine in Series 6. And if he saw the start of the Hit era, he would have gone mad at the way they were handling his characters. And that is all for today. And with that, I want to thank all of you for watching, see you in the next video, and goodbye for now.